Hey there, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. 1958, NASA. Let's see. That would be Mercury.
I mean, I think it's when they were founded, but I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, it's well before the lunar landing.
Yeah, yes. You know, what I wasn't as present to is that in the first iteration of spacecraft that they were building, they thought for some reason they had to have a really high level of oxygen in the atmosphere in the capsule, and the doors closed, the doors opened in, and
Mhm.
they had a problem on the launch pad. A spark lit the oxygen in the
And it
capsule.
imploded. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, and the pressure held the doors. They couldn't open the doors to get the guys out because the pressure was so great inside, and they just got cooked in their capsule. It
Yeah, they
was,
showed that in
yeah, in First Man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that when I like a movie, or a lot of times I go and read up like full geek, like to read what the movie, and so they point out like it imploded instead of exploded.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So I guess I got it sideways, but what a horrible way to go. you know.
Yeah. Hopefully it was fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
I think in The Right Stuff they showed that too.
Sorry, say that again.
I think that in the movie The Right Stuff they showed that also.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no one at NASA has forgotten it. I'll tell you that much. There's not a person there that's not aware of that. I think every day.
Wow.
It's gnarly. I mean, it's a great organization. And yeah, it was February 1958.
That's when it was founded?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it came out of Advanced Research Projects Agencies, ARPA, which is, also
Not then DARPA, then the internet.
who did
Yeah.
the internet. Yep. Did you know the internet in my book is a Scorpio?
You mean
On
that's because when it was founded?
on October 27th, the first message was sent between UCLA and I think Berkeley.
Huh.
And and I know because it's my birthday, October 27th,
Okay.
whatever the year was. And that means it's a Scorpio, which probably explains a lot about what's going on right now.
Well, landing on the moon was July 20th, 1969, and I was born 2 years later to the day.
Oh, yeah.
Although this year, looking it up, it turns out that the lunar lander landed on the moon on July 20th, but Neil Armstrong actually put his foot on July 21st.
Yeah. Wow.
Landed on the moon, but midnight passed before, yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. That's cool. Well, if you're into that stuff, I will send you a SoundCloud song that my band did
Yeah?
back in the days when there was no digital anything. And I mean, it took us forever. It was me and the guitar player really, who produced it. But my guitar player went back and cleaned up all our songs. They're actually not so bad. So I'll send you a link. It's called Neil Armstrong, and I do apologize to Buzz Aldrin, because if I was a little older and wiser, I probably wouldn't have said what I said. I didn't say anything mean, but I wouldn't say.
Well, as I remember, Buzz Aldrin punched a guy like 50 years younger than him. I think it was Buzz Aldrin. Like some paparazzi was bothering him about something, so he punched him as like a 70 or 80-year-old guy.
Yeah, I mean, I hear he's a little cantankerous, if you will.
Well, if you walk on the moon, it's like I'm not going to be the judge who's going to put the guy in jail.
Heck no, me neither, man. If he punches somebody, I'm probably going to side with Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah. Like the Buzz Aldrin act.
Yeah.
So, this morning I woke up and I started doing it, and my voice is now, I don't know if you can hear it. It's like, I don't think it's like sometimes my voice will go down if I have a runny nose or something, but I think it's like just doing it too much. Should I be like drinking more water, or
drink a lot of water,
I don't smoke.
slow down the actual day before. And one interesting thing just about that is when Margaret Thatcher was running for office and said she wanted to have a career in politics, lot of her advisors said it'll never work, you know, like you can't do it. And one of the arguments was your voice is too high. And she found a trainer who had her lower the pitch she spoke at. Now, here's the thing. If you breathe out and you say hello at the same time, hello,
Hello.
hello, that is your
Hello.
lowest natural register.
Uh-huh.
And if you go below your natural register, it's really weird for people. But the closer you are to your naturally lowest register, the better. So, so I didn't go for that hardcore, but I definitely did that some, and I feel like it was a positive move. And for Margaret Thatcher, it's one of the things people credit her entire political career to, you know. So, from the annals of strange history.
So when you say better, do you mean it's better for my voice or better for? I mean, I presume, especially for men, a lower voice.
People respond to it better.
So it's really hard to change your voice.
It is, and I'm not saying that you should do it. And if you feel like it, once in a while when you're walking around, go, hello, hello. So it feels super comfortable, but just while you're breathing out, hello. And, you know, if you find that you're, you know, don't push it down, just hello.
Hello. Uh-huh.
Hello.
Hello. It's significantly lower.
Pardon me?
It's significantly lower.
Yeah. So what happened from it took I just read that, thought it was interesting, thought I'd try it, and I took it on. It took about 6 to 8 months for me to consistently notice that I was speaking in a lower register, and it wasn't a big change for me, but it was a noticeable change.
Yeah, I figure it would take a while. I think it's lower now than it used to be.
Yeah, and I don't think it's not something that I think is a first priority for you. You know, if you want to play with it, but I'm not saying that I think you need to do it. I don't.
Okay. Do you think it would add longevity to my voice?
I mean, I've got to believe that it is it seems to me like it must be more relaxed on your vocal cords, right? Because to get deeper, they relax more, and to get higher, they tense up more. But I have no idea. Okay. But I did, you know, I did take opera lessons when I was younger because my dad said, well, look, if you're going to sing in a band, you got to know how to sing. And he founded the Utah Opera Company with his best friend, Glade Peterson. So he had some ins. And I think that the thing for your vocal cords that matters more than that, much more than that, is the practice of really having a solid floor for your diaphragm. Like really, you know, I used to do sit-ups while I was going, right? So I would be singing while I was doing sit-ups, and just to get this core really tight and strong and hard. And, you know, I still talk too loud when I'm at restaurants and stuff because of that solid floor.
Well, I do my crunches and planks every day. So I could just add in some.
You could. And notice when you're speaking, it's the same thing as when you're singing, that, you know, like when I was singing, my teacher, you know, I'd be, drink to me only with thine eyes. And she'd be like, you know, whacking me in the stomach. And it was not supposed to, you know, affect me because I had such a good, solid, tight core support for my diaphragm.
What were the was it specifically hitting notes or just?
No, just kind of scales. It would, you know, it would be like right, and I just go up and down on a scale basically. Okay. I think the main point was to be practicing going, you know, making moves vocally while I had that much pressure on my, or, you know, that much going on with my core.
Okay. Well, should I do another run or?
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if I should stand. Well, I do it standing up, but I feel like I'll do it standing up.
Yeah. Either way. If you, I mean, yeah.
Let's see if I can do it so not a shadow. There. Is that? Oh shit. All right.
Yeah. There we go. That's cool.
Okay. It's sitting on my bag of oats.
Yeah. Right on. There you go. Look at that.
All right. I like clean air, clean water, clean land. I think we all do. It's an emotional thing. I certainly feel at times exuberant, but at other times even depressed or guilty or shame. If you look at the numbers, oh, wait, let me start again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
I like clean air.
and as you're doing it, I'm one audience member. Here's another audience member. Here's another audience member a little further back. You know, be picturing people and making eye contact as you do this. Try that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I have been looking out here, but I should look. I'll look here. Okay. I like clean air, clean water, clean land. I think everybody does. It's an emotional issue. It's at times I feel guilty or ashamed, but sometimes exuberant. And if you look at the numbers on virtually any of the issues of carbon dioxide or methane or global or mercury, we're moving in the opposite direction. And if it was just me feeling bad, that would be one thing, because you feel twisted inside, because I feel twisted inside if I'm acting in one way and doing something else. But many people say that this is the issue of our times, of our species even. And the environment means a lot of things. It's global warming, it's mercury, it's ocean acidification, it's deforestation. But let's look at just global warming. I used to think that carbon dioxide caused global warming. Carbon dioxide is just a molecule. It bounces around. It has no volition of its own. We have volition. We have choice. Our behavior results in the carbon dioxide being in the atmosphere. If we took all the carbon dioxide out back to pre-industrial levels, with our growth, we would be back where we are right away. If we want to change our effect on the environment, we have to change ourselves. We have to look inside. And our behavior comes from our beliefs. Our beliefs like, if I act but no one else does, then what I do doesn't matter. Or it doesn't really matter. Or these little things are so small, they're not worth doing. But these big things are so big, it's too hard for me to do. If we want to change our effect, we have to change our beliefs. And I'm going to share with you today what I have developed over years to enable you to do what I did, which is to change from, if I act but no one else does, then what I do doesn't matter. And let's pause for a moment to look at that statement. What I do doesn't matter. This is a profound statement. Imagine my parents saying that to me. Imagine any parent saying that to a child, what you do doesn't matter. I put to you that if any of us has the belief, what I do doesn't matter, or it comes in many other forms, or this is not that important, or other things are more important. This is not something that we want. And I'm going to share with you a technique that moves people from what I do doesn't matter, and the various other beliefs like that, to I did this, I'm glad I did this. I enjoyed doing this. I thought it was going to be deprivation and sacrifice, but I enjoyed it, and I want to share this joy, not sacrifice, this joy with others. And you are going to experience it yourself, and I'm also going to teach it to you so that you can share it with others, so that you can share acting on your environmental values, so that it's rewarding and you care about it, and people will thank you for it. Let me go back to how it began. About 4 years ago, I was in my kitchen, I looked down at my garbage, and as if for the first time, I saw how much garbage I produced. I didn't like that, and I thought, I am hurting people, I want to change this. And at the same moment, I felt two conflicting thoughts. One was, I can do something about this. I want to do something about this. I can change this. And now, despite knowing how to cook my whole life, I didn't actually know what to do because most of the garbage came from food packaging. And I hit on the idea, I wonder if I could go for a week without eating any packaged food. As I said, I knew how to cook. I thought I could do it, but I couldn't. And welling up in me were feelings of helplessness, despair, shame, guilt. And I did what a lot of people, when feelings like that come up, some people disengage, some people withdraw. I did what school taught me to do. I started analyzing, I started planning, I started strategizing, figuring out who should do what and all these sorts of things. But I didn't actually act. And for the next 6 months, every time a feeling of that, like that welled up in me, I would do the same thing. I would plan and I would act and I would strategize and all this, but I didn't actually act. 6 months later, I said, this is going nowhere. All this planning is not helping me. It's not helping anything. And I know I can go for a week on just water and apples if I have to. I'm not going to die. So I said, it starts right here, right now. For the next week, I'm not going to buy any packaged food. I actually made it 2.5 weeks. And I'll tell you, here's what works. Better than all that analyzing, planning, is I decided and I acted on what I cared about. And here's what works. You go to the store when you're hungry and you say, well, that's in a box, that's in a bag, that's in a can, rubber band, sticker, not getting any of those. What do I got? Well, there's cabbage, there's cauliflower, there's apples, there's fruit. If I bring a bag with me, I can get the nuts and the dried beans. And that's what I learned to do. I learned to cook from scratch. And after the 2.5 weeks, I made it 2.5 weeks. And after those 2.5 weeks, I decided to keep it going. And yes, I agree that it began difficult, but soon enough, it became easier than ever. It became more convenient. I spent less money and it was a lot more fun. I brought more friends over, so it became more social and community-based. But most of all, what I want from food more than anything else, it was delicious. It was more delicious than ever. And that's what changed for me, is that what looked like deprivation and sacrifice from the outside became delicious. And my mindset in my heart and my soul, when I think about acting on the environment, to act on what I care about with the environment, I think this is going to make my life more delicious. So it's something that I look forward to. And this points out, I think the biggest problems with environmental action today is that it's all management, no leadership, all telling people what to do, not finding out what's your delicious and enabling you to act on what you care about. It's all coercion, no inspiration. And I'm going to teach you how to inspire. And it took me several years. And if you go to the Leadership in the Environment podcast, you can hear me developing this technique. But now it works pretty well. I do it with an Olympic gold medalist, a CrossFit Games champion, multiple New York Times #1 bestsellers, TED speakers with tens of millions of views, a 4-star general from the Marines, leaders of departments at West Point. This is not a bastion of tree huggers. This works with lots of people, as well as friends, just people like you and me. And so I'm going to do it with you. Some of you will just passively listen, but some of you will actively participate in what I'm about to do, and then you're going to get it. And I hope that it leads you to feel the feelings that I described, that I'm glad I did this, I want to do this more. And so it's a 4-step process, and I'm going to do each one. So step 1, what does the environment mean to you? When you think about the environment, what do you think about? Sometimes it's an emotion or feeling, sometimes it's a memory of the past, sometimes it's anticipation of the future. And so I'm going to pause for a moment, and most people don't say it out loud, but think as loud as you can. What does the environment mean to you? Okay, I didn't give you quite enough time to answer there, but keep in mind what you thought. I'm going to walk you through several steps that I do with people on the podcast, and I recommend doing this interactively with other people, because that going back and forth and having people confirm and clarify gets to something deeper. But most people, when they answer this, they answer a few different things. One is they often answer with a textbook definition. It's clouds, it's trees, something impersonal. But what does it mean to you? For a lot of people, it's that apple orchard that they grew up next to when they were kids growing up, and now it's not there anymore. Or that time that they swam with the dolphins, and it's just incredible, that feeling. Or that big pile of plastic you saw in the ocean that you just couldn't believe was there. Or the dog, walking your dog in the park. Whatever it is, it's your thing. It's something that means something to you. Often something in the past or something in the future, sometimes positive, sometimes negative. And for many people, there's distractions. There's several distractions that tend to really well up. One of them is fear of judgment. If I tell you what I care about, you can judge me. You can laugh at me. You can say, oh, that doesn't matter. Superman is invulnerable. How do you get Superman? he cares about Lois Lane. Find out what he cares about, and he becomes vulnerable. So a lot of people protect, there's what they care about surrounded by this protection. Also, when I answer this, I often think, what does this person want from me? Or what does Greenpeace or the New York Times want me to say? Or what's the biggest thing that I can say? Well, those things may be important for others, but for you, it's what you care about. It's your thing. And so there are various distractions, but hopefully I've helped you get to dust off, to get these protections away, to get to more personal. And I'm going to ask again, I'm going to pause again, what does the environment mean to you? Okay, keep that in mind. That was step one. Step two is I invite you at your option to think of something for you to act on that environmental value. Now, almost everybody, when I ask this question, jumps to a question that I did not ask, which is the most important thing, or what's the biggest thing that you could do, or what does the paper say that you should do? This is not about other people. It's about you acting on your value. And so I'm going to pause. Is there something that you can think of to act on your environmental value? Okay, again, I didn't give you quite enough time to answer there because I'm going to walk you through a few steps to help people. And when you listen to the podcast, you'll hear me go through these similar steps with people because there are a few constraints that I add that help people because constraints breed creativity. One is you don't have to fix all the world's problems all by yourself overnight. A lot of people think if it's not big enough, it's not worth doing. If you believe that the size of what you did the first time was the most important thing, I think you'd have to admit that to play piano at Carnegie Hall, playing a scale would be not worth it to get you there. But that's exactly what gets people there. In fact, the people who play there play the most number of scales. This is about developing in you a scale, skills that you can develop. Some people say these little things, if enough people do little things, it all adds up. I'm not going to argue against that. But to me, the value of doing little things is developing these skills so that after you do the little things, the big things become easier in comparison. And the big things, that's what adds up. Next is, it has to be something with a physically measurable result. I'm a big fan of education. I'm a big fan of awareness and reading. The environment responds to our behavior, not what's going on inside of us. So this has to be something behavior related. Also, we learn from our own experience. And so experience is how we learn things. And so this has to be something where you learn to act on your values. Next is, it can't be telling other people what to do. There is enough people telling other people what to do in the world. Personally, I think that gets populace elected all around the world. But most of all, we learn from our experience, and we benefit, and we gain, and we get a sense of reward from doing things that we actually do. So it has to be something that you do yourself. And finally, it has to be new, something that you're not already doing. Oftentimes, when I started doing things, I thought, I'm already doing this, I'm already doing that, I'm already doing this, I'm already doing that. I'm already tapped out, I can't do any more. Well, Americans, we have plenty that we could do. But more importantly, once I realized that what I was doing was for me and not for everyone else, then I realized that there's lots of things that I had in mind that I've been thinking about doing. And guest after guest, when they get to the stage when it's not having to fix all the world's problems by themselves overnight, not telling others what to do, physically measurable, and new, they realized this is something I've wanted to do. And probably you have things in your mind that you're like, I've been meaning to do this for a while. And that's why in the podcast, this is where people say, thank you, Josh. Thank you for getting me to do something. And they often say, Josh, you've motivated me. Thank you for creating that motivation. But I'm not creating motivation. The motivation was already there. A lot of people, they have these things that they want to do, but because of these protections, and when you think of leaders of companies, leaders of countries, leaders, people that you want to influence, because a lot of us think government should do this, countries should do that, other places should do this. Those people, first of all, only by acting on what you do that's how you can figure out how to motivate others. The fastest, most effective way to motivate others is to begin by motivating yourself. But also, when we care about something and we suggest to others to do it, we imply, if I ask you to do it for my reasons, I imply that I'm going to judge you based on my criteria, and you can never win by that way. So, and if I say that I care, the more that I care, the more I'm going to judge you by my criteria. And the same happens for the leaders of companies and countries. What I do is I support people. The opposite of judgment is support. I don't create that motivation. I reveal it. And people act on what they care about. They find they're delicious. So back to, step one was, what does the environment mean to you? Step two is to invite it your option to come up with something to act on it. Step 3 and 4 are more management, but they get the job done. Step 3 is make it a SMART goal. So SMART, S-M-A-R-T, stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. The big ones here are specific and time-bound. If you want to lower your plastic use, do you want to lower it by 10%, by 50%, 100%? If you're going to go vegan for a bit, are you going to go completely vegan or maybe just no eggs? That's your choice, but the more specific it is, the easier you can do. The easier it will be for you to do it. And time-bound. You know, I've had some people say that they were going to avoid meat, and if they're big meat eaters, a week is a long time for them. But I had one guest and she said, I'm going to go for a year without buying any new clothing. I had one guest who said, I've been meaning to go vegan for a while. I'm going to switch completely vegan forever. It's up to you. Most people, it's usually 2 weeks, a month, so something like that. But once you set that, it becomes much more achievable. And some examples people come up with are, you know, a lot of people, they want to lower the use of plastic or lower their eating meat, or they'll take public transportation, or they'll cook at home for a while. But it's what means something to you. So based on what you care about. And finally, the last step is accountability. So you'll hear on the podcast, I ask people, would you care to come on after you're done to share what the experience was like? And I recommend when these talks are done to turn to the person next to you, exchange emails, and go back and forth a bit to say, this is what I'm working on, and listen to what they're going to work on, maybe help them refine it a bit, and then get in touch in 2 weeks or a month or whenever it's done. And I predict that you will have the same experiences that virtually all my guests have, which is first, either it's, this was easy and I wish I'd done this earlier, thank you for getting me started, or this was hard, but this is exactly the kind of challenge I've been looking for, because people want challenges if it's something that they care about. And they like that challenge. And another big thing is, at the beginning, a lot of people think, well, what's my wife or husband going to think? What about my kids? How am I going to get my boss involved with this? And at the end of it, they found out ways to act as leaders do, which is to look at other people not as impediments, but this is what we work with. And it builds community. Almost always acting on your environmental values builds community, because people want to do this. We all want cleaner air, land, and water. Most of us don't want to be first. And when you take that first step, what for you might feel like swimming upstream, you've made it for them swimming downstream. And this, I believe, is the shift that we are looking for. We as a nation, as a species, to act on our environmental values in a way that we care about. That for you to find your delicious. It's going to be different than my delicious, but it matters to you. And it's going to be different. It may not be delicious. It may be something else. I'll give you an example. One of my guests, he's a podcaster. He's a very successful podcaster. On his podcast page, he puts how much money he makes each month. Always a 6-digit number. So this guy's a millionaire, lives by the beach. But if you ask people to name the top people to act on the environment, I don't think anyone put him near the top of the list. In fact, when I asked him, what does the environment mean to you? He said, not much. And you can hear the conversation online. About after maybe 5 minutes of speaking, following the structure that I just described to you, he voluntarily and enthusiastically decided and came up with himself that for the year 2018, once a month, he would bring a bag with him to the beach and pick up every piece of trash that he could find. 6 months into it, I asked how it was going. He said when his family came to visit, he brought his family out and they picked up trash together. People in his neighborhood saw him doing it and they started getting involved. A year into it, when it finished, he said he was going to redouble his efforts and do more. This is meaningful lifestyle change coming from inside that he is sustaining without me trying. The woman who went for a year without buying new clothing, she is in the C-suite of a $30 billion company. She can buy all the clothes that she wants. Several weeks into 2019, the year that she's going without buying new clothing, I asked her how it was going. Not only was she not buying new clothes, she was going to a closet and finding stuff she'd been meaning to get rid of for a long time. In fact, she was looking at acquaintances she interacted with that didn't quite fit with her, that were a bit more materialistic than she liked, and she was revisiting her friendships or her acquaintances. Again, meaningful lifestyle changes. One of the colonels at West Point, he happened to be decreasing his waste. It was over Christmas time, and he and his family had what they described as the best Christmas ever because they got rid of their gift giving and they got closer together. And this is what I believe, I hope that you are experiencing in doing this exercise with me. It's just the starting point. When you actively do it, you'll feel it more. And I hope that you get this technique down and listen to the podcast as much as you like to get that technique down and share it with others, because this is about finding our delicious. This is about changing our humans' relationship with the environment from extrinsic to intrinsic, from telling people what to do to finding out what they care about, bringing that out and helping them act on their delicious, from management to leadership, from coercion and telling people what to do to finding out what they care about and inspiring them. There is something that you will love about doing this. I know it will look like a challenge from the beginning, but when you get over that, you will find your delicious. And when you find that delicious and you get this technique down, you can share it with others and you will inspire them and they will thank you. And that's what this is about, making that shift. It begins right here with me and with you to switch from coercion to inspiration. Inspire, find your delicious, inspire yourself, help others find their delicious and inspire them. Something like that.
Perfect. Good. Yeah. I mean, I think it's something like, you know, find your delicious and inspire yourself, help others find their delicious and inspire them. And that's, you know, and that will create, you know, that begins to create, or that will create the difference that could make all the difference.
Yeah, I got to work on the ending, because I think inspire yourself, find your delicious, inspire yourself, help others find their delicious, inspire them. That's like a solid ending, I guess. It's,
if you want to just end right there, yeah, great. That's true. I would
get people to their feet.
Say it again.
I want to get people to their feet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like that. So, I mean, I think the question that I have, the thing I'm playing with in my mind, and I don't have the answer yet because it's just doing it out loud and hearing what really booms, is it find your delicious and inspire yourself, help others find their delicious and inspire them? Or is there one more thing after it where it's, you know, find your delicious, find their delicious, inspire them, and that, you know, that is what will lead to the difference that make, you know, that will make the difference that will make the difference? Or that's the begin, you know, that's how we actually,
well, I wonder if,
save our species, or, you know, like, what do you, is there that last little thing that you're saying we're going to accomplish by doing this? Or do you leave it at inspire yourself and inspire others? I think,
well, that's a solid ending.
yeah.
But what's going through my head at this moment is, do we want clean air, clean water, clean land?
Oh, that perfect. You know what? You're absolutely right. Good begin. Good.
Do we want it? Do we want clean air, clean water, clean land? Clap if you do. Is that too much of a cheesy thing? Clap if you do. Well, I haven't been.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't ever done something like that. I haven't ever done that particular one.
Do we want clean air, clean water, clean land? Yes.
Yeah.
I want clean air, clean water, clean land. Do you?
Okay, that's good, right? Find your delicious and inspire yourself. Help others find their delicious and inspire them. I want clean air, clean water, clean land. Do you?
Maybe it's something like this. It begins right here, right now, with us, with you, with me. This is the change. This is where it happens. Are we in this? This is it. Inspire yourself. Find your delicious, inspire yourself. Help others find their delicious, inspire them. This is where it begins. Right here, right now, with me, with you. Are you in this?
Yeah, this is where it begins. Right here, right now, with me, with you. And I've got one question for you. Are you in this? You know, are you with me or whatever?
Do you want garbage or delicious?
Yeah, right, yeah.
If you don't want garbage and you want delicious, yeah, let's see.
Do you want garbage or do you want delicious?
Yeah. Help the world quit with the garbage and up with it. Are we going to quit the garbage and go up with delicious?
I mean, this is how you do it, right? You play with all of them, and there's no bad idea. It just pretty soon it'll start to circle around what really you can feel will land, you know?
Yeah, I do tend to, when I teach my classes, I often ask questions like, does this make sense, and so forth. I'm always checking with them.
Yeah.
And I think I have to get to the point where Bono doesn't check in. Like,
yeah,
hey,
exactly.
does that sound good?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, is this working?
A little more bass?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, yeah, you don't need to check in. And
because I think to inspire yourself, inspire others, then it's like, oh, that's really good. That's really good. But I want people to be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe earlier, when I say, because when I activate them when I do the pause.
Yeah.
And maybe if I said, like, if someone has something, raise your hand. I'm not going to call it enough. See, if I say raise your hand, no one raises their hand.
Yeah, no. I mean, and we got to remember the video audience too, you know?
Yeah. I need
so
I'm thinking like the Blues Brothers in the church scene with the James Brown on stage. You know, and they're like, oh. And
oh, yeah, where they go to church and everybody's just like
that, I need an audience like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you see the light? Do you see the light?
Exactly, yes, yeah. No, for sure. That's funny. That's hilarious. I grew up Mormon, so church was not like that.
Oh, no, yeah.
So, I mean, I think you could play with it. I think that you've got a decent ending, like very fine ending with inspire, find your delicious, inspire yourself, help others find their delicious, inspire them. And I do like either before that or after that, the whole, I want clean air, clean land, clean water. Do you? Or because that's
yeah, that's a little too imposing.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that they already do, right?
Yeah.
You know they do. I want clean air, clean water, clean land. I know you do too. You know.
What if I ever say, like, do you want clean air, clean water? Get on your feet, people. Do you want clean air, clean water, clean land? Do you want garbage? Do you want delicious? Get on your feet if you want clean air, clean water, clean land. It begins right here, right now.
You could say it all starts with action. So if you want clean air, clean, I'm delicious and inspire yourself, help others find their delicious and inspire them. This is how we do it.
Now I'm thinking practically, I don't think I'm gonna have the guts to do it. I'm like, get on your feet, people, and they're like not on their feet. I'll be like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. Well, if you say get off on your feet, people, you don't let them not. You just say, look, I got time. Get on your feet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't I don't know that that's necessary. I mean, I think that there is, it is an action, right? Starts with action, but then they've taken an action and they feel like they already did it, right? Like that's not the action we want them to take, really.
Probably, yeah. I feel like I've never tried to get people on their feet before. Mm-hmm. So if I do that now, it's kind of a big stage with the public recording of it.
Yeah. No, I don't think that it's necessary. I like the find your delicious, inspire yourself, help others find their delicious, inspire them. And then, I mean, maybe it's something because, that's the kind of true leadership that our world needs. You.
It's like, if I'm hearing this, what do I want to feel like at the end?
Well, that's a good question.
If I'm maybe it's something like, if I, if they're not gonna really feel it until they actually act. Like what you feel, I believe many of you feel right now, there's something that you can act on. When you act, that's when it comes together. Inspire yourself, find your delicious, inspire yourself. Find everyone else's delicious, inspire them. What you feel right now is just the beginning. When you do this, you will feel it. And then you'll feel it.
You know, how about the assumptive greatness close of like, you know, I know you can do this, like, you know, something like that, right? Like not like, go do this, you know, I know you feel it now. I know you're going to love it when you do it. Go find your delicious and inspire yourself. Help others find their delicious and inspire them, because you're the leaders the world needs right now. Or even you are the leader, like talk to.
I feel like emotionally that still feels similar, like the emotional interaction. You know,
Yeah.
You know what I do with a lot of guests on my podcast?
Say that again.
What I do with a lot of guests on my podcast, I say, I invite them over for my famous no packaging vegetable stew. I could say, this food's really delicious. And I'm just gonna say, like, and when you're in my neighborhood, look me up and come over for some famous no packaging vegetable stew. But I haven't established that before. But
I mean, people would know what you were talking about.
Yeah, when you come by, and when you're in New York City, stop by and have some of my famous no packaging vegetable stew.
Well, here's the thing: when you're in New York City, come by, have some of my famous no packaging vegetable stew, and tell me about your delicious.
So yeah, I don't think this is going to go anywhere, but let's pursue it anyway.
Yeah.
Remember how I said how delicious my food was? My famous no packaging vegetable stew it's life-changing.
Famous. It's.
Yeah, I think it's too much other stuff.
Okay.
It's so easy to just end with, you know, find your delicious, inspire yourself, help others find their delicious, inspire them. 7 billion people crave this leadership. Inspire us all.
Yeah, 7 billion people are craving your leadership. Inspire us all.
7 billion people are craving your leadership. It starts right here, right now, with me, with you. Inspire us all.
Yay.
I definitely like this more than this.
Pardon me? Yeah, no, I think this is better than this, because this is like closed and begging and whatever.
Yeah. Find your delicious. Inspire yourself. Help others find their delicious. Inspire them. 7 billion people crave leadership. They crave your leadership. It begins right here, right now. Inspire us all.
Yeah.
That's gutsy.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's good.
So now I got to lead into that so I can go into that confidently, because a lot of times I'm thinking, did I say this? Did I say that? I forgot what I said. I don't know if you've noticed, like, it certainly feels to me like my ending is kind of meandering as opposed to culminating.
Yeah. So, and we don't want that, right? We don't want to meander culmination. And I think that, you know, and listening to you do it this time, you're just still playing with it a little bit, right? Because like there was the extrinsic to intrinsic earlier, and then it came again. And And that's what makes it feel meandering, is that there's not just a straight out. So like, I think that, you know, like you're talking about the successful podcaster, the female executive, the other person, and all those things are good. What they've done is good. It's cool. It's like, wow, the guy who didn't even really care about the environment, now he's picking up trash on the beach. And then I think it goes from something like, you know, this is what worked for them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them didn't even know they cared, but they, you know, they took that first step and it turned out awesome. And then you go from their stories, a little summarization of what they did, and flip it over into the close where you give it to
I think the close I think begins with when I say, and this is the shift that we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
This is the global change that begins right here, right now.
Yeah.
That it was telling people what to do and people rejecting that, to finding what they care about and inspiring them.
Yeah.
From coercion to inspiration, and it begins right here, right now, with you finding your delicious and inspiring yourself, then acting and helping others find their delicious, inspiring them. Because 7 billion people crave leadership so they can act and find and act on their delicious. Inspire us all. Oh, that didn't come out quite right.
I mean, I would just say 7 billion people are craving your leadership.
7 billion people want to act. They are craving your leadership. Inspire us all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think that works.
This is the change that we as a country, as a species, have been waiting for, have been looking for, to act on what we care about. Find your delicious, act on your delicious, inspire yourself. Then help others to find their delicious and inspire them, because 7 billion people are waiting to act. They want to act. They're looking for leadership. They're looking for your leadership. Inspire us all. I'll keep working on it.
Yeah, keep
Make it
working
tighter.
on it. I mean, like that last time, I think, 7 billion people crave leadership. They're looking for leadership. They want your leader. I think you'd say 7 billion people are craving your leadership, right? Like,
I think about 7 billion people want to act. They want this to happen. They don't want to act first. 7 billion people are craving leadership. They are craving your leadership to find their delicious. Inspire them, inspire us all.
see, and I think that it might be more powerful to just say it once.
Just once? Okay. I thought it was like building.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it could be. If you set out to do that, you could do that.
7 billion people are craving your leadership. Inspire us all. Inspire us all. 7 billion people are craving your leadership. Inspire us all. It's still going down at the end. 7 billion people are craving your leadership. Inspire us all.
Stop. Don't say all. Try just say inspire us.
7 billion people are craving your leadership. Inspire us. Ah, that's better. This is the shift that we as a culture, as a nation, as a species have been looking for, recognizing that we've got to change, we've got to love what we're doing. Find your delicious, inspire yourself. Help others find their delicious, inspire them. 7 billion people are craving your leadership. Inspire us. Inspire us.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can keep, now that I have something more
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah. And I think today's the day to work on this and you can still be iterating and playing with it today, see where it goes. I think that's pretty good though. I like that. And I think, you know, the getting the beginning dialed and getting the end dialed are pretty important at this stage, I think. And really having that, like the whole talk could be really great. And if the end gets a little wishy-washy, that's how the whole talk's going to feel.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely nail this down and then commit to something and practice it. And, you know, one of the things that I have learned is that I have this, I used to have this tendency to think of something really great at the last moment and go with it.
Like on stage?
Well, or right before, on stage sometimes, right before. But, you know, I don't do that anymore. Uh-huh. You know, because if I've worked on it, it's it's already really good. And then that thing that could make it way better that I think of halfway through the talk about the end, uh-huh. I don't do those as much anymore, you know, because I just up so bad.
Yeah, I like it. I'm now at the 10,000.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Inspire us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I do that actually? It's like, inspire us. Like give a fist pump or like a Tiger Woods.
Yeah. I mean, why not, right?
Because if I bow, it's like, that's a performance. That's like an actor thing.
Well, you know, I think that it's, you know,
or I could just,
you know, so I think that when you say inspire us, mm-hmm. they'll get it, you know, and you could say inspire us. Thank you. You know, because people are really respectful in these audiences. And I used to try not to say, I wanted to end on something like without saying thank you, mm-hmm. but people will sit there for a while because they're so respectful. They don't want to clap till they're sure you're done, you know? So to give them a clear thing, you know?
So maybe if they put your hands together would help there.
It might, yeah.
People are craving your leadership. Put your hands together, inspire us.
Yeah.
That's funny because it doesn't really detract. Like if I saw that written and it said like, put your hands together in the middle, it would be like, what's that?
Yeah.
Seven billion people. This is where it begins, right here, right now, with me, with you. This is the cultural change, the changing our nation, changing our species, because we want to enjoy acting on this. Find your delicious. Inspire yourself. Help others to find their delicious. Inspire them. 7 billion people are craving your leadership. Put your hands together. Inspire us. That's really fucking gutsy. Like with you right here, right now, I know you, but with like, whew, that's like, you know, in A Few Good Men.
Yeah.
When he's gonna cross, he's got Colonel Jeffries or whatever his name is on the stand, uh-huh. And he like, the guy's been calm, cool, collected the whole time, but he's got a hint that maybe he'll crack.
Yeah.
That he wants to say this. He wants to tell this stupid Ivy doesn't care lawyer to fuck off, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, and he looks back, and I think both of the other lawyers are just like, don't do it. Your career's going to end. And he goes for it. And he gets you can't handle the truth. It's like,
yeah.
Is he going to go for the brass ring? And I can see myself there, like, am I going to do this or not? Am I going to do this or not? Like, in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But, you know, I cried on stage.
Yeah.
And
and here's the thing, Josh. You're the one who said this, right? Like, this is authentic for you. If you knew that people loved you and trusted you and you trusted them, you wouldn't have any problem saying that to them.
Yeah, it's just a new contact, like a one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this. Like, I'm like,
So
are you doing this for me, or are you doing this for you? And they're like, doing for you. They're like, enjoy it. You're gonna love this.
Yeah.
You're gonna love this. Maybe that's
the more you can make it like one-on-one, the more the bigger the audience, the more they'll like it. If it's one, all we ever want is one-on-one. And if all, you know, the one of the biggest things that I struggle with these corporate executives I work with is that they're so good one-on-one, and then they get on stage and think they need to be different.
So maybe I should go something more in the direction of, you know, I ask people over and over, I ask them, are you doing this for me? Or are you doing, I started you doing this. Are you doing this for me? And they say, no, I've been doing this for myself. And they love it. When you get when you find you're delicious, you will love this. And it's this amazing thing about the environment. When you do what you love, you benefit everybody. Do what you love. That's a little more direct.
Yeah, I mean, and I like the idea of you bringing your one-on-one style. That's what people want more than anything.
So that's going to be.
And when you look out at the audience, it's not an audience. It is one person, and it's one person, and it's one person, and it's one person, and you're having this conversation. It's why I don't like it when. It's why I keep saying say at the break instead of after these talks. Because I don't want to do anything that's going to remind the audience that this is not a one-on-one conversation.
Okay.
I want everything to feel like a one-on-one conversation.
So when I say I'm going to pause, and when I pause, I want you might not say it out loud, but think it as loud as you can. What does the environment mean to you?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
What does the environment mean to you? Okay, didn't give you enough time, but that's because I'm going to walk you through. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that eye contact is like scary for me.
Yeah. Oh, but it will actually relax you, I bet. If you're there for them. You're there to love them no matter what. So when you make eye contact, you're making eye contact with somebody you love, you know, and it's just one person.
And I guess that in time, I will eventually that's my natural way of doing things, is talk to one person at a time, one person at a time, one person at a time.
Yep. And make sure when you got a big audience like this, that it's not just the people right in front of you, right? Like you get to that person that's in the front row, the farthest to the left, and same thing with the right. Get to that person that's in the back row, the farthest to the left and the farthest to the right, the people that are in the middle. You know, make sure that you include the whole room as you do that. Mm-hmm. And I try and find people that are really super lit up, connect with them, suck up that good energy, and then take it to a part of the room that's maybe a little darker and just get it all over them, you know? But it's that one-on-one, loving them up, eye contact, and treating this like it's a conversation with one person, even though it's multiple people in a row, but one at a time, it's a huge, like it's like a secret weapon for how the audience is going to feel about it. And it also, if you let it will calm you down quite a bit.
Okay.
So I've got a call coming up here now. This is a little alarm for it. I think we're scheduled for tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon, my time. I think it's like 11:30 your time.
Yeah, 11:30 my time. So work on that ending. Get something that sings. And if you're feeling stuck later today or something, and you want to just jump on a call for 5 minutes, text me. Okay. And, but I think you got this. I'm happy to talk to you though. And then we'll run it again tomorrow.
Okay.
And think about that one-on-one thing, because that's all they want. They just want to be with you, Josh, really.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's totally true too.
Yeah, I'm going to practice the ending a bunch. I'll keep refining it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.